At Denver International Airport, 17-year-old Paris Dunn from Southern California has just landed, ready for a weekend fling with pro basketball player Chris Andersen.
What's going through your mind?
Nerves, anxiety, excitement.
The two have been in touch online through Facebook, email, and text messages, but incredibly, they've never actually spoken to each other until this moment.
Were you thinking at all that this could be dangerous?
I was a little nervous, maybe the day of, but I didn't feel in any crazy danger.
She'll regret not asking more questions, because what Paris doesn't know is that her weekend plan was orchestrated by someone other than the man she's about to meet. There's a catfish out there with hooks in her and Chris Andersen.
I get off the plane and he's texting, okay, I'm at this exit. That was the moment where I see, is this real or not? And when the door opened, there he was.
Looking just as you imagined he would look.
Yeah, tattoos and all. He gave me a kiss and gave me a hug, and we were happy. I was happy.
How are you reacting to each other?
I was nervous and shy. It was kind of like a first date thing.
This first date has some awkward moments. Both seem to have strange, incorrect details about the other.
A couple little weird things, that didn't add up.
Such as?
He said, you told me you brought a lot of Victoria's Secret stuff to wear for me. And I said, no, I didn't. And then he was like, when is your trip to Africa? And I was like, I'm not going on any trip. What are you talking about?
He's asking you weird questions, but you're shrugging it off.
Just shrugging it off. Just okay, well, we're just messing around.
And one more miscommunication. Remember the guy who encouraged the visit and claimed to be Chris's buddy, Tom Taylor?
I said, well, Tom said, he's like, who's Tom? And I was like, your best friend. And he was like, I don't know a Tom.
A bizarre disconnect. Maybe the NBA player has Paris confused with another woman.
That's a big red flag.
It was. I thought he was messing around. When he was like, who's Tom? I was like, no.
But you don't really connect any dots.
Nope.
They were strange, confusing little question marks that kind of peppered the weekend, but nothing so alarming that it tipped either of them off.
Clearly, the weekend becomes a little bit more intimate.
It wasn't just about sex at all. We actually did stuff and watched movies and TV, and then he went off to practice.
Paris is having a ball, snapping photos, even selfies with Hannibal. The kitchen, rec room, and the NBA player's size 15.5 sneakers. Then Andersen's mysterious best pal, Tom Taylor, checks in, wondering how things are going.
He was telling me, go take a picture of this, go put his hat on, and it's I remember being I'm not gonna go through the guy's stuff.
At this point, you're considering Tom a friend.
Yeah, a friend.
Or is he? After the weekend fling, Chris drives Paris back to the airport.
He got out and he gave me a kiss and I went off.
What's wild is that the weekend get-together that Paris and Chris had was really only the beginning of this crazy story. Things really took a turn for the worse.
In fact, not long after Paris is back home in California snapping selfies by the pool, she's getting barraged by messages from Tom Taylor.
Yeah, it was all the time.
Non-stop.
It was constant. Almost like a jealous woman would be.
After the weekend together, the catfish really, I think, became empowered and even a little emboldened. What's next?
Then Paris reveals an interest in another NBA player.
My friend gave me tickets to go meet Blake Griffin at some Clipper event. So I said, I'm gonna go see Blake Griffin today, exciting.
She's stunned when the message seems to enrage Andersen and Tom Taylor.
I remember it just got crazy from that point on. That just just set something loose in the head.
Taylor now seems to be flaming Paris with angry, abusive text messages.
I have folders of nasty text messages.
Tons and tons.
Tons and tons.
What was he saying?
He said that he was going to send somebody down there and he was going to have me raped and murdered and thrown on the side of the street.
Just because you were going to see Blake
Just because I was
Griffin?
going to see Blake. Something just went and just set him off.
Are you scared?
I was scared. I did not like that.
And then another frightening threat. Taylor telling Paris that his friend Andersen shared her nude photos with him.
Essentially, the catfish was using Tom to threaten Paris, to say, not only am I going to physically harm you, but those naked photos you sent Chris, I have them. He showed them to me.
He sends Paris a link. She clicks, and to her horror, there are her nude photos, all posted on the internet for anyone to see.
And I see just all my pictures, my address, my phone number.
And these are nude pictures?
These are nude photos of me. All my pictures I had sent Chris. All my Chris Andersen pictures.
This is pretty creepy stuff.
Oh God, it was terrible.
So clearly, this is where the story really starts to escalate.
Because this isn't just about power. Now this is about just anger and real hostility.
The catfish decided, for whatever reason, I'm angry, or I'm jealous, or I'm not happy with how things are going in my life, so I'm going to transfer some of that onto these two otherwise innocent people.
Exposed and now threatened, a furious and frightened Paris at last reveals her secret life to her mother.
That's when me and my mom called the police. These are underage pictures online, and he's putting my address. So that was immediate. Call the police right there.
And what did you hear from the police?
We're like, Chris Andersen's involved. You know, they're like small town police people, so they're like, what? He said, you just opened a can of worms.
A can of worms that would include the near destruction of a sports star's career.
The Chris Andersen case centers around Andersen's involvement with a 17-year-old girl.